Hello traders, Nick Shaheen here looking at Johnson & Johnson. More so of a lesson of what not to do, when not to do something. Today is, let's see, ISM day, I guess, Thursday, 10-3. And the market had a little tizzy today over the ISM, but that's besides the point. Well, kind of same point. I don't chase ticks. Not all ticks are created equal. How about that? This is a daily chart on Johnson & Johnson. Let's start there. But before I forget, at the end there'll be a subscribe button on the top left-hand corner or middle left-hand corner, depends where they put it. To subscribe to this channel, it's free. Hit it if you're not there yet. Okay, back to business. Not all ticks are created equal. Every candle here is one day. So sometimes when we see a candle like this, you get the urge to do something like this. And often it's the wrong thing to do. It's the natural reaction to, it's an emotional reaction. So charts help us, even here, charts help us sort out what's what. Okay, so this is this a 1 year? This is a 1 year. So I'll start with the most recent candle first, and we'll work backwards. All right, so a while back I drew lines. Like at this point in time, I said this line, this must hold, and I draw. If not, it should go there. And then when it came up to here, I drew this, and I said this is the opportunity to go up. And since they're the same color, I bet I drew them at the same time, so somewhere around early August. So the range is still the same. You can see the bottom held, the tops held. Yesterday, candle popped on them signing some sort of an agreement on the lawsuit that we're going on. I forget the headline, what it was. One of the lawsuits they're involved in, maybe the one over the painkillers. And the market was happy. The urge is to buy the calls, buy more stock, but it was the wrong thing to do. And I'll show you why. I'm going to bring in a marking scratch pad, so to speak. Ooh, markets are bouncing. I love it. Cup and handle in the S&P. Okay, so why don't I chase it up here? Because of what actually, look at this. It almost matches perfectly to this blue line I drew, right? So that tells me that the reason I drew the line wasn't a coincidence. It's because it's a ledge. It's a prior pivot point. They like to fight it out right here. At some point, sometimes they overshoot this way or that way, but it's clearly a line that has been significant at several points in time on a daily basis. Giant candle, they chose to stop right at it. So when you come back to a pivot point, onus is on the buyers to prove that they can go above it and come back to it to use it as support. Otherwise, it's still resistance. My assumption is resistance. So here it was support, 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 support. Yeah, whatever happened here, I don't know. And then lost support. And now they're resistance, 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 and this one. So onus is on the buyers to prove that they can go above it and use it so they can do this. Otherwise, I have to assume that it's support. I mean resistance, sorry about that. So that's why I don't buy it here. But I could, if that indeed headline was to eliminate a giant risk, then if I wanted to catch the fall, catch the rally, I would rather sell puts or put spreads below it. So this way I'm long, but I don't need anything to happen. If it doesn't come and the risk is gone, as far as the debacle with the lawsuit, then hey, I made money and I didn't have to be out of pocket. But I don't buy calls on these headlines. So that's one reason. Plus, I can draw a box around these two blue lines I did. We're still in the box. Usually when we get stuck in a range, I don't chase price unless I'm really fast in trading inside the range, and then I have to go to a lower time frame and trade these little guys until they break the range. And the breach of the range of either side will carry momentum in that direction. So if the bulls break above that, if the bears break below that, they will carry momentum in their direction, respective patterns. Okay, so this is just the point of this whole video. I just made it. But you can make that same point over a whole bunch of periods of time. I can go back and make the same argument on this candle. I haven't prepared this, so I'm going to look left and this is the zone where it topped out before, and the actual ledge from which they fell all this. How on earth would you buy a call up here before seeing them go above it, come back to it at least once to say, okay, yeah, it's now. So again, same exact point as this one right here, that one right there. I'm pointing at the screen. You can't see me. So this is the same point as I did here. So let me see if I can make the same point over a different time frame. Let's see, let's go to a weekly. Maybe something will jump out. Yeah, okay. So weekly, every candle is 1 week. So this is a slower decision-making process. I don't chase candles. So these low candles that just happened, my blue line right there, look at where it matches up. That I can assure you I did not do on purpose. And look at the collection of dojis in here. I don't know if you can see them. These little nubs here are dojis. What does that mean? The stock opens, they rally it up, they leave a long tail, they try to rally, sell it down, they leave a tail, they come back and say, you know what, I have no idea, let's just close it where it was. 2 days back to back, 3 days back to back, and then within 6 trading days, another one here. Complete indecision around this line. And that's the same blue line if you look to your right. Sorry about this movement, this is a magnifying glass, so I'll get it out of there. Okay, so clearly a line to watch. So let's look left. Does it appear pivotal again? Yeah, right here, and then right here. And more importantly, probably most importantly, is right here. This was R, and then a breakout. Then support, breakdown. See how they took it back and then they rallied? So I can say support even though they had tails, but they didn't close there for the week. So on the weekly basis, it was support, and it still is support. So here is the story is a little different. On a weekly basis, a longer term perspective, somebody's in it for the longer term. Nothing to do here. Onus is on the bears to go below it and do this, to go below it and do this. So the assumption on the weekly basis that it's support. Man, this is perfect. So it all depends on time frame. Okay, and the range is still the same. I can draw a box, and I can say the same thing. Actually, I put the tops right here, eyeball. Why? Because I see the most tops here in it. And I say the breach of the box, perfect, right there. See that? So the breach of this is the most recent fail. The breach of the box up will carry momentum in this direction, down this direction. So if I'm long and this falls apart, where do I panic? I don't panic here because there's a nice cluster here. Okay, and if I wanted to sell puts, this would be a place I would sell puts if I wanted to buy the shares, or if I'm trying just to make money in it, I would hide behind this cluster here. I don't know what happened here. This too fast. Anyway, so this is my thoughts on Johnson & Johnson from these 2 time frames. Okay, so we talked about it from 2 time frames. The point was to do a lesson, actually. Share thoughts, I should say, not a lesson. So on 2 time frame, we started on the daily. I bet you anything I can come up with similar statements on shorter time frame. So this is here's a 30-minute chart. Same exact concept, only smaller time frames. So in this case, the lines would be, look at the collection right here. Clearly, it's right here. If I say anything, I'll say Johnson & Johnson is super tight. There's a move coming. So the lines to watch depends on how fast a trader you are. Round numbers, 131.5 would bring buyers to test this neckline. Below 130.6 or 7 may test this one. If I was selling short-term risk, I'd sell below this tall tail because they tested it hard on volume and it survived. So chances are that's the worst case scenario for this time frame. Plus it covered this gap. Nice and neat, right? So this was the gap on the headline. That's the tail we were looking at before. The edge of the weekly range, that's the edge of the weekly range. So we're stuck in here until something happens. There's a little gap here for those of you who like gaps. So if I were to sell an iron condor, I'd sell up here and down here, depends on